In the last week, Angela Merkel said the following: nobody should take for granted another 50 years of peace and prosperity in Europe, and that what I say, if the euro fails, Europe fails. We have an historical obligation to protect by all means European unification process begun by our forefathers after centuries of hatred and blood spill. None of us can foresee what the consequences would be if we were to fail. Now, someone should remind Frau Merkel that it was her country that started the Second World War. It was her country that killed millions of innocent people. While there were obviously contributing factors to why this happened, it would not have happened but for the acquiescence of a large proportion of the German population. So now, in order that we do not face such a prospect again, she is seriously saying that we must all be subsumed into a united Europe, Germany calling the shots. In the 1990s, I spent 2.5 years living in Germany, and during that time I visited Dachau concentration camp. I was curious as to why such a place still remained open as a museum and that they never bulldozed it and moved on. The answer I was given is that people should never forget. It appears that Frau Merkel has certainly forgotten one thing, and that is that people do not want Germany controlling their lives, whether that be as a result of a war or financial threats. She should also remember that one of the reasons given for the Second World War and the rise of extreme right-wing politics was that the German people and state were treated too harshly after the First World War. Now she wants the people of Ireland to suffer extreme austerity as a punishment for the crimes of a previous government. It is this very pressure which increases the chances of Europe falling apart and descending into mayhem. What real lessons has Frau Merkel learned from the catastrophe of war? We hear today that she is incandescent at the idea of Greece having a referendum. So in other words, we now again have a German leader who is annoyed at the idea of a sovereign state making its own decisions through a legitimate. She is also forcing us to put the interests of gamblers in the bond markets before the people with special needs, old people and the most vulnerable in our society. In the last week, it has also become clear that one of the ways that her dream of European integration can be kept alive is by borrowing money from China, a country that to this very day has concentration camps. Many, including people like Anthony Coughlin, warned that the process of monetary union would end in tears and that the only way it would work would be by complete fiscal union. This is something that we were told at the time was not necessary as a way of fobbing off people who did not want to see further integration into a European superstate. Now that the inevitable has come to pass, we are told that full fiscal union is the only way forward by the very people who denied it was a requirement in the first place. And I don't know, is this out of order, but the man who inspired me into getting into politics died yesterday, and I want to dedicate this to John Keneally, a hero of mine. Thank you.
Thank you,